Welcome, my friends. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and this is my RP experience. Peace and love to all my brothers and sisters out there. Thank you for the like button, subscribe and share, and turn on all notifications so you know when I have a whole new video up. Today's video is going to be about the Usher and Alicia Keys Super Bowl entertainment fiasco. And look, I understand performers, when they are performing, they kind of scrape that line between reality and fantasy when they are dealing with especially the opposite gender. And a lot of times those people can be in relationships. But I do think sometimes they take it a bit too far. And let me address this before I forget. Yes, I know they do it in movies, but not every actor gets in a sexual situation. You have to be like a Tom Cruise, a Brad Pitt. Denzel Washington refuses to do those type of scenes. And I was trying to break into acting at some point in my life. And with my ex-wife, I told her I would not do any love scenes. And at the same time, I didn't want to play no hood roles neither. But only, and that's not because I'm such a great guy. The thing is, she was also in industry as well, or trying to break into an industry as well with music. So, being honest with myself, I would not want her to do a similar type of thing. Maybe a peck, a soft kiss, maybe, I guess, because almost every woman that's attractive that's inside a movie, they always try to shove them into some type of love scene or something. But the men, you gotta be one of the top tier dudes in order to get into that situation in the first place. And if I was in that situation, they would have to use a body double or something if I am in a relationship. Because I always go back to Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Wasn't he married to that woman off of Friends? I cannot think of her name right now. But he was married with her, and then he had scenes with what you call him. And not to say he didn't have scenes in his other movies, but he had scenes with her, and then he cheated with Angelina Jolie, and then left Aniston. Can't think of her. Oh, Jennifer Aniston. He left her to go be with Angelina Jolie. And of course, though, that blew up years later, even though they was together for a real long time. However, to put this more into context, we're going to take a look at the video. I probably cannot, well, I will not play the music because I know that will definitely be copyright. And I'm hoping I can play the short clip of the video. So let's look at this so that we know exactly what we're looking at and what I'm talking about. Right, she looks nice and red. There go Usher doing his Usher thing. And oh, he had to lightly touch her butt right there. Violation. Then he's up on her again. Now notice one thing though. She does keep trying to walk away from him as he is pursuing her. Then she starts singing, then he's on her again. Now she turns and she backs away as he keeps on coming. And then he's on her again, and she moves slightly. And there you go. And then he's on her again. Now, she doesn't try to get away from him this time, and she definitely does. Oh my gosh. I had to do this recording over because the sound had went out. And I had it perfectly. Hopefully I can remember what I said last time. Anyway, as I was saying, I have a different perspective on the Alicia Keys Usher thing. And in my perspective, I don't look at her at fault as much as some men will. Because if you look at that recording right there, the previous one that I had up there, the video with those two performing, you will notice that Usher comes close to her, and as soon as he gets real close, she backs away and starts singing. And of course, she plays it off. That's if she's playing it off. Look, that could be part of the performance right there. But I'm looking at he got close to her like 3 to 4 times before he hugged her up at the end. But it seemed like she tried to politely get away. And the reason why I have this take is something similar happened to me. It was this job that I was at before I started doing freelance photography, which I did do that on the side, but I was a photographer and I would have women or families, even guys, come up and ask me to take pictures of them and their family. It was this one woman. She was from Ukraine. She did work at my job, but she worked in another department. But she came by and she wanted me to take pictures of her. And I remember she was from Ukraine. Now, I was married at the time, so I did not make no move on her. But I remember thinking back, she was very forward and aggressive. Well, not forward in the way of saying what she wanted, but she kept getting into my personal space, like getting close to me. Not really touching me inappropriately, but she would stand real close to me. And then I would step back. And then she would step close again. And then I would step back. This happened about 3 times until I got behind a pole or something. And then I was explaining to her of like how I take pictures and how it's fun for me and how we can take some pictures later throughout the park. Well, the area where I worked at. Not going to say the name of the place because I don't know if that will be an issue. But thinking back with that, it was an older man that told me, like, hey, that woman is really into you. And I like, why do you say that? Because she stayed in your personal space. And every time you stepped away, she got close again. Now I never made a play on her, even though I did take pictures of her later. I always kept it professional because I was still married at the time. But the way my marriage ended, how everything fell apart, how it was blatant disrespect, and the way that I was treated. And of course, okay, yes, I did some things to her, but my thing was always a response to what she was doing to me. And because we had a kid and stuff and married, I, I don't know, couldn't just leave her until you know certain things happened, and then she left me. But thinking back, the way that woman was, and she was my type, even though she had short hair. She was my type, and plus she was foreign. That's why I think the next woman I get involved with is going to be from another country. Foreign women up, okay? Because I read she has that kind of energy that she's really interested in me, and I don't have to figure it out. And I always think if you have to figure it out with a woman, if she likes you or not, then she's not really that interested in you. Even though I have to admit, sometimes I'm clueless anyway because I'm not used to a woman being that forward. The most I remember getting is a woman staring at me from across the room. But I times when women have been aggressive, sometimes I done dropped the ball. But a lot of times I was in a relationship at the time, but it was sometimes I was single and I was like, damn, I should have just hopped up on that. So looking at it from that perspective, I think Alicia Keys, that was not her intention. That was all Usher right there. And of course, at the end, though, the way she was smiling and things like that, I don't know. It was a performance. It was Super Bowl. A lot of emotions running into you. Uh, I mean, I had semi. Um, I had I had opportunities that I kind of was in a performance type of environment, and you have a lot of things going on in your head right there. So it's hard for me to tell if, and she definitely did not initiate that. It's not like the Kiki Palmer situation where Usher was all up on her and she made no movements to get away or somewhat redirect him. She absorbed all of that. So I'm going to give Alicia a little bit right there. But once again, if that was you, your woman, how would you feel about that? I'm assuming most men would feel okay. And for women that don't get it, if that was your man up there, how would you feel? I'm pretty sure you would feel a certain kind of way as well. And even though a lot of you don't believe in that zodiac sign stuff, this is why sometimes I do, is because most Libras I know, they are really flirtatious. And what is Usher? A Libra. And those were my two worst heartbreaks was by Libra women. The only Libras that I noticed don't flirt that much are those kind of stoic, serious, moody types. If they're like that, then you have to worry about them flirting too much because a lot of people may not like them. I guess like a Brie Larson or something. A lot of people may not like them. So maybe that Libra is okay because at least she'll realize you're one of the few people that like her. So therefore, she'll probably be nice to you and mean to everybody else. But those Libras that's like friendly and all like uh, engaging everyone, yeah, they tend to get too much out of control, and that goes for both the men and the women. But I only date the women, but I've seen the men in action as well. So anyway, I have a video that I saw by Angry Man.
Don't talk about it, especially when she starts out in the relationship by saying that Swiss gave her the ick. What? Swiss gave her the ick, right? Now, look, I don't like to wish divorce on nobody. If they remain together, that's cool. But if I were a betting man, I would bet that that relationship is not going to last. If I were a betting man, if I were a betting man. And the only reason why I say that is because whenever you have a guy that's in a relationship with a woman and he gives his woman that much leeway to be comfortable enough to put herself in situations like that. You feel me? Whenever a man is comfortable enough allowing his wife to be put in situations like this, I can tell you right now that I don't see that lasting. I don't see that lasting. I don't. I don't see it lasting because once a woman starts thinking about another man in an intimate way, that means that she is already leaving that relationship. And I'm not saying she's thinking that way about Usher. Not saying that. But you men y'all gotta start paying attention to your women. Y'all got to start paying attention to your women. Like for real. You got to start paying attention to your women. Because they show you the signs. They show you the signs. And trust and believe. See, this is one of those moments where everybody will say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, angry man. That's bullshit." And then a year or two from now, you know, you'll hear about them separating, or you'll hear about them getting a divorce and shit. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now. If you think for 1 second that this shit is not bothering Swiss, you got to be crazy. You got to be crazy. And I'm gonna tell you why. I know it's bothering him. I know it's bothering him because he was married to another woman. He was married to another woman. He wanted Alicia Keys so bad that he left that woman for Alicia Keys. I remember, because I remember saying to myself, damn, that's fucked up the way he did old girl. And then on top of that, I seen her on an episode of, I think it was Love and Hip Hop. I think Jim Jones' wife, I think Jim Jones' girl, Chrissy, or somebody from Love and Hip Hop is cool with his ex. And she went over to their crib and the mansion was in squalor because he basically abandoned her. Like the grass wasn't cut. Like this nigga literally packed up his shit from the mansion and left her in the mansion. And when you go in the mansion, the motherfucker's damn near empty. She probably don't live in it anymore. But the mansion was damn near empty. The grass wasn't cut. The shit looked crazy, bro. It looked crazy, right? And, you know, he basically pulled a Steve Harvey. You feel what I'm saying? And I remember when he was getting married to her, this dude was like, if you ever remember back in the day when people say sucker for love, I was looking at his behavior and I was like, yo, Swiss Beats is the type of dude where if you was his homeboy and you said his girl was stepping out on him, he's not going to be mad at his girl. He's going to be mad at you. He's going to be ready to fight you. He's that type of dude. And when I say that this dude is head over heels, every time I've seen them in an interview, every time I've seen them together, that dude, he got it bad. And to tell me that a guy that has it that bad is cool with that, there's no way. There's no fucking way. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Now, he might not say nothing to her now, but I guarantee you that shit is going to cause a problem because that nigga don't live in no bubble. You're going to see all these people on the internet talking about this shit. That shit is going to eat away at him. You remember when people say up here that men live quiet lives of desperation? That's part of the shit we talking about. When your woman is doing some shit you don't like, but you don't say anything because you don't want to be that guy. You don't say anything because you don't want to upset her or you don't want her to get mad, or you might be afraid she's going to leave you. Let me tell you something. That type of shit right there eats away at a man's soul. That type of shit right there, it causes all kinds of problems.
Yes, problems. And I don't think I could say that much better than Angry Man himself. He has a different type of energy that I don't have at this time. Even though I'm a lot better than what I used to be. I mean, I can be him in spots, but sometimes I get a little too soft on the females, especially when they start boo hooing. Even though now I do know um, their game and how sometimes they manipulate people and they tell half the story or they leave certain parts out. And that's the thing that worries me about women now, especially when they are telling a story. For men out there, if you are with a woman that's hanging off of dudes, I'm against that thing of not letting a woman go out with her girlfriends, because when I used to go out to like clubs or places where people are at, I would see some women that would just go with some girlfriends of theirs, and I don't know what they would be talking about, but they would not be entertaining other men. But then I also see a group of women that do. Now I do think sometimes it depends what they are wearing out there, but my red flag have always been, if she gets all dialed up and she doesn't look like that most of the time, all the time when me and her are going out, or times when we are together, which I know sometimes y'all don't feel like getting dialed up like that, especially if y'all not going anywhere, and then you're like, well, the guy's supposed to love me for me. Okay, I get that particular thing. But the only time you get all dressed up and you look real sexy is when you go out there, then that's not good neither. And I do think it's good for people to have space in their relationship, because I think sometimes you do have to remind the person that you could meet somebody else or you could leave them. This goes for both the men and the women, but I do notice a lot of times when women are the kind that like to go out, they will pick a dude that really stays home, that plays on his Xbox, or either is like working a lot. Whereas men, they'll do the same thing, that like to party. It's rare that I see two party people date each other unless if they are going out together. And of course, a lot of times it can be arguments from there because he flirted with some girl, or some girl say something, or his ex was there, or either the same way, vice versa. So people have to remember, relationships is like a delicate thing. I think women have got comfortable with, because I looked at the comment section on that video. Most women did not see nothing wrong with that. But see, Usher is not your man. And I'm pretty sure if your man was up there, you would have an issue. In the same way, vice versa, if it was a woman, because I'm trying to think how many women would fill up a dude. Maybe a Miley Cyrus, because I remember she tried humping when she first came out with her new style with her that record. I cannot think of it. That was like years ago, and I remember she was at on some awards show, and she was either dry humping or either twerking on some guy that is Adam Thick. Yes, I think she did that to him. Now I think they both was involved with people at the time. So look, people have to realize sometimes you're going to cause issues in your relationship when you do certain things. And once again, I already covered the thing on actors. A lot of time actors do have a grace thing because they are away on the camera and you don't see them lip locking somebody until the movie starts. But even then, some actors do not go too far in the movie. Like Tom Hanks, how many love scenes did he have? I think the most he had most of the time was like a peck or a kiss. But those sex symbol ones, yeah, they are always taking their shirts off and making out with a woman, like the Brad Pitts, the Tom Cruises, those guys right there. And I do think, I always believe in things being even. So I do think actors and actresses should date each other. That way, both of them can pit up with each other's stuff. Which I know, if I'm an actor and I'm dating an actress, and every time I turn around, she's lip locking with some other guy, I'm going to jump at any role that comes across that I'm making out with a woman. Like, if they send me a role, like, wait a minute, okay, so do I have a love interest in there? Nope, okay. Not doing that movie unless if you paying me a whole lot of money. eh, And they don't really talk about that a lot, but I do think that always becomes an issue in a relationship when your significant other's doing certain things, and I know they have to have conversations. And the last thing I want to leave with, because I was that dude, like when I say with the woman that she came to my job and she had on a tight white dress and she was going to record music with some dude I've never met before. And even if I had met him, it doesn't matter. And then she told me later that the dude took his clothes off and she had to run out of the probably his place. When I think back with that type of stuff right there, I'm pretty sure those celebrities have certain stories like that, and sometimes their relationship ends or either it becomes a tit for tat type of thing. Because I know I did not realize it at the time, but once I thought about it later, then when some opportunity came up for me to like flirt or get into a situation with a woman, I did not fight it because I'm like, she gets herself into situations and then expect me to just forgive her and life goes on, and then she's into another situation, and I know I should have left that situation a long time ago, but once again, because she was attractive and my love life was dry at the time, I put up with certain things, but I did get her back. But see, is that a healthy way to live a relationship? I kind of think when anybody cheats, you should just explode the relationship. It's pretty much done because they are either going to do it again or either you are going to want revenge. So have a good day. God bless everybody. Give me a like and subscribe.
No, this is hilarious because one time I was sitting next to my husband, literally right here, hanging out with him, spending time with him while he was gaming. He had his headset on, so he was mostly talking to the boys. But you know, I like to sit there sometimes and just hang out with him, even if he's not paying attention to me. So I hear a girl's voice on the mic or on the headset, and I'm like, not really thinking anything of it. I did take note that it wasn't Sunshine's voice because I know Sunshine and I know her voice, and that wasn't it. And then this girl literally says, she goes, I bet all your girlfriends think you're having a boys' night, but here I am in the chat. And I was just like, who the fuck is this girl? You know, like that's just like, that's weirdo energy, you know? And none of the boys said anything to her. None of them. And most of them have wives, you know? So not really looking for a gamer girlfriend, you know? And like, I just really hate that whole like trope of if you don't play games, like you're a game hater. I don't give a fuck. I literally bought my man that chair. I bought him that keyboard even, I think, as a gift. That monitor might even be from me. I don't give a fuck if my man games as long as it doesn't ruin his whole life like a child. You know, as long as he can have a job, I don't care. So what is this? It's a really weird flex, girl. Weirdo energy. Not for me.
That right there. That right there. I've had oh my ex-wife go off because I say, "How you doing?" And that was all I really said on a chat when we was talking about comic books or something. And she went off on that right there. Meanwhile, a man's supposed to take all this stuff, like with Usher grabbing and you having a lot of men in on your social media, that type of stuff. Like we supposed to just take that. That's why I don't want no woman ever saying anything to me of why I have a lot of women on my social media. That's the exact reason why. Because I'm tired of going through that particular type of stuff right there. And this is a good example because y'all can't even take the little stuff. Y'all can't even take your man liking another woman's photo. Every few months, I see a woman bring that up. Like, why is my man liking another woman's photo? Okay, compared to what a lot of men be putting up with women. Like, get the fuck out of here.